One of the greatest options in a carnivore diet is for sure the grass-fed beef patties from Costco. This is a 5-pound package, has 15 1/3 pounds patties in here for just $34. So it's a really good deal. And one of the other great things about the Costco grass-fed patties is that there's an 80 to 20 beef to fat ratio, which is really ideal. Actually, a little bit more fat would be better, but this is like the minimum amount of fat that you really need when you have a meal for a carnivore diet. Definitely want to have enough fat. I've said that in earlier videos before, but you know, basically in the carnivore diet, your body will be using fat for energy. So that's the key reason why. Okay, and I got 3 of them ready, so it's about a pound's worth of beef patties. And we're going to go ahead and put them on this pan, which has already been preheated. And I always use the same cooking oil, by the way, which actually, you know what, I'm going to back this up one burner. I found that when it comes to patties, there's a lot of grease that can splatter. And so if it's too close to the edge of the stove, it'll actually go onto the floor quite a bit, and I have to do a lot of cleanup. So if it's back here, the oil will be actually contained to be not on the floor. So that's the reason why I have this. Oops, I kind of broke this patty here, not the best, but we're going to go ahead and go with it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with 2. I don't think I can fit 3. Let me give it a shot here. I haven't done 3 before, but let's see if it'll work. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do 3 because too much grease actually is produced with 3. With 2, it's just right. You actually control it a lot better. And I do actually, you know, at about midway point of cooking this, I do pour some of the beef fat onto the dish. So let me just pan over to the dish real quick. I actually use a good dish because the grease from these beef patties is what you want to keep. And it's pretty hot when it comes off the pan. So you want to have a nice ceramic dish so that, like if you use a paper dish, for example, the paper dish will absorb some of the grease. And you don't want to do that because then you'll lose some of the fat. So if you use this nice ceramic plate, you end up being able to basically retain all of the fat that melts off of the patties. And as I always do, I always use this Baja Gold sea salt. And it's about $7 for 14 ounces from Amazon. So it's a pretty good, you know, decent price. And we're going to go ahead and start to season this now. So here we go. Let's put in salts. One of the best benefits I've gotten from the carnivore diet, I forget to mention this sometimes, but my blood pressure has gone down significantly on the carnivore diet. Somewhere around, on average, about like 140, 145, sometimes in the high 140s, over like 95. That was my average blood pressure before the carnivore diet. But since being on the carnivore diet, that pressure has gone down pretty good. It's about in the, not perfect, but it's about 130 on the high side for the systolic pressure. And then for the diastolic measurement, it's more like about 85 or 80. So it's gone down a lot just by diet change. I'm going to go ahead and flip this now. Alright, so as you can see, a lot of grease is forming on the pan. Let's go ahead and salt the other side here. So what I do is, I don't like the fat to pool up too much in here, so I'll let this cook a little bit more. But once it cooks a little bit more, I'm going to stack them and lift them off the pan, and then pour the grease into the ceramic plate right here. So as this is cooking, it sounds really delicious, and it's as delicious as it sounds, by the way. Let's see. I'm about ready to go ahead and... Okay, so I'm going to just stack this. This is kind of like how I do this to be able to not let too much grease pool in the pan and yet retain all the grease. This is my foam spatula I use. I go ahead and actually pour all the fat from the pan onto the dish. Okay, so that's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and put the patties or the pan back on the burner. Okay, and here we go. So maybe another, say, 3 minutes of cooking. I like to have it actually medium well. So I know most people don't like it medium well. It's a little bit too done. And you know, this is a carnivore diet, so we're focused mostly on the beef. So I'm not looking to make a great burger. So I'm going to go ahead and do what most people don't like to do, which is to actually break up the patty and look inside to see how well it's cooked. It's not bad, actually. It's a light pink, so it's about done. Now these beef patties, I took them out from the freezer not more than about maybe 2 hours ago. So they only defrosted a bit before I put them into the pan. And they cook pretty well, so this is actually a fast meal. I have put actually frozen patties directly into the pan before, and it takes just not more than another maybe couple minutes for it to cook. So beef patties is definitely a fast way to cook a great tasting, great quality meal for the carnivore diet. I may need to actually drain this pan one more time, possibly. See how it's doing here. So I'm going to cook it a little bit more. Let's see. But I am going to, I think I'm going to try. There's a lot of pieces on here, so it's going to be a little more difficult. So I'm not sure if I'm going to, if this is going to work or not, but I'd like to see if I can. Actually, I'm going to leave the patties here. I'm just going to hold them in place a little bit and see if this will work. So I'm going to just, some more of the grease drip out. I'm not toasting the pan too much. I think that'll be okay. So again, I'm not letting the grease pool in the pan because it kind of affects how the beef cooks. This is a good level of grease in the pan because it prevents the beef from sticking, while at the same time not being pulled up to affect the cooking negatively. And we should be done. I think I can finish this up about now. Just break this up one more time here and see. Yeah, this is a light pink. It's just perfect for me. And that's the same for all the pieces here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and take all these pieces and put them into the dish. Okay. And let's get a little more grease off of it. And then we're going to put the last patty on here. That's, you can hear my terrier mix playing with my Rottweiler mix. I'll show you my dogs in some other video. So I'll let this go ahead and cook for a little bit. And I'll start eating this delicious beef patties, which I'm going to add a little more salt to as I eat. And just as a note, I made a note about blood pressure. It's really interesting. I've increased my salt consumption by, I think, about quadruple, literally, since I've started the carnivore diet. But my pressure went down. So I get to eat what I love to eat, which, you know, unfortunately is salt, and then at the same time get better pressure. So I'll go ahead and finish this video off with this note, and this will be done in about, say, 5 minutes. And I'll go ahead and start, but I'll say bon appetit.